Joining me is Sharyn Alexander, president of Sun Summit Minerals. Great to see you.
Great to have you. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about your Buck project in BC. You recently got some drilling results. So you're looking at gold, silver, zinc, and you say that you're gaining some more insight into the potential scale and the geology and so on. So what are some of the highlights of what you're discovering?
Yeah, for sure. We recently released some of our results from the drilling from fall 2022 at the Buck Main project. And what's clear is there's strong expansion potential. So we already knew that there's a mineralized footprint, and we've done some step-out drilling. We're intersecting disseminated and high-grade mineralization. And so we're expanding that mineralized footprint. It's now over 1 kilometer in strike length and about 800 meters width. And so there's a lot of expansion potential here. Some pretty exciting grades that we're finding. And when you look at some of these widths and grades, it's very in line with some of the other type of bulk tonnage systems in the area. So for example, Blackwater, keeping in mind that Buck has infrastructure and access already in place. So we're very encouraged with what we're seeing at Buck Main in terms of the expansion potential there.
Right, and we'll talk about Blackwater a little bit more in just a second. In terms of the next phase of drilling, I understand you've got a lot of unexplored targets. So what can we expect there?
Yeah, we're planning a pretty robust exploration program in 2023, not only at Buck Main, but we have a huge property. It's 33,000 hectares. Most of these areas have not been drill tested in the past. And so we applied for and were granted a property-wide exploration permit last year. And so our focus in 2022 was to really develop some of these property-wide targets. Traditional exploration we can't really do in this area because we have very little outcrop, and so we use techniques such as geochemical sampling and geophysical surveying. And so we've put together a pipeline of targets, again, never been drill tested. We're currently prioritizing some of those drill targets, and so the blue sky potential on the property itself is very high.
Sharyn, you mentioned the Blackwater project, and it's interesting that your technical advisor, Dr. Chris Leslie, he's worked on that. And part of the strategy is essentially following the zinc. So could you explain what you're doing there?
Sure. So, there's a lot of similarities between Blackwater and the Buck Main system. So first of all, they're both intermediate sulfidation epithermal systems. They're both hosted in the same type of rock, the same age of rock. So we already know it's a very prospective rock type. This association with zinc is very interesting because gold has a very strong correlation with zinc, more so than with silver. And so we're actually using zinc as a pathfinder for gold. In environments such as a surface environment where you don't have a lot of rock outcrop, we can use the surface geochemistry and look at zinc right in the field with an XRF device. We don't need to wait for assays to come back, which gives us a good indication of whether or not there's gold in the surface environment. And so that similarity between Blackwater has really helped us. You've mentioned Chris Leslie. He was part of the discovery team of the Blackwater deposit when he was with Richfield Ventures. That got bought out by New Gold, and now it's owned by Artemis Gold. So just go over the proven and probable reserves at Blackwater. They're 8 million ounces at 0.75 gram per ton gold. So this is bulk tonnage grades. At Buck Main, we have very similar grades right from surface, hundreds of meters of 0.5 gram to 1 gram per ton gold, keeping in mind that Buck has fantastic infrastructure and access, so we don't have to add in those additional costs if we were to be in a mine scenario.
And I'm sure it's great to have him on your team as well.
For sure. He's been guiding a lot of our exploration strategies, so what worked and what didn't at Blackwater, especially with that zinc association. So we have a great technical team. We brought on our VP Exploration, Ken McDonald, as well. So we're really fine-tuning our exploration strategy on the Buck property.
Lastly, Sharyn, for investors, a catalyst for this year, and what's the overall value proposition? You've been defining it there, but what would you say it is for investors who have a lot of companies to choose from?
For sure. So in terms of near-term catalysts, I say there's great expansion potential at Buck Main. We have unexplored targets on the property package. We're going to be starting a pretty aggressive drill program in 2023 at multiple prospective target areas. We're going to have a lot of ongoing news flow for the expansion and project advancements. In terms of
the value proposition?
The value proposition. Yeah. I mean, we're in a great area with formerly producing mines, one of which is being brought back into production, active exploration projects. It's a mining-friendly region, We have excellent infrastructure and access, drill 12 months out of the year. We have that ongoing expansion potential at Buckmain. We have a known mineralized system, as well as that exploration upside on the property. 33,000 hectares of undrilled targets we're currently prioritizing. Great management and technical team. So yeah, stay tuned for a pretty active 2023.
We will. Thanks for the update.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you, Sharyn. Sharyn Alexander. She's the president of Sun Summit Minerals.